everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a play collection video. Have fun. So hopefully this video is not going to be too long because I do have a lot of plays, so I'm hoping it's not going to be too long, but I do have 4 sections. So the first one is just straight plays, just regular, straight plays. Most of them are contemporary. Not all. Then I have Shakespeare. Because I like to keep my Shakespeare stuff in a completely different section than the rest of my plays, because Shakespeare just needs his own section. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the main places that I get my books. I thrift most of them, not necessarily from thrift stores, but used bookstores. They have some of those online that I get them from, some of them in person, some of them I buy brand new, which is pretty rare, to be honest. But some of them, like one of the places I get them from, Powell's Books, which is just a North Pacific Northwest bookstore. I'm pretty sure they have them in other places. But I get a lot of them from there, so you can get them for a decent price, for the most part. And they have used and new, so you can kind of like do that based off of your preference. Normally the used ones are obviously going to be cheaper. So yeah, I tend to go for that. Another place that I go to a lot is called Vintage Books. It's in Vancouver, Washington. And it's just kind of like a consignment shop for books. You can sell your books there, and you get in-store credit back. They have more about that on their website, which I will link down below. Sorry, my earring is bugging me. There we go. Another place that I get it from is this website called Thrift Books. This is not sponsored by them. However, I have bought books for them for a very long time, because you can get books for a lot cheaper than you can get them from a lot of places, and you can even choose the quality, because a lot of times you can they have like the options. So like there's like new, like used, like really good condition, or there's like used, like acceptable condition, and that's where I get a lot of books, plays included. There are a couple other places that I get it. Those are the main places that I buy plays, because it's just the most affordable to be able to buy a lot of plays. So those are the main places I would definitely look at. If you don't have, like, obviously, like, if you don't live in my area, you're not gonna have a lot of the same stores. But I'm honestly sure that if you like looked into it a little bit, there are probably vintage bookstores and like thrift bookstores and stuff like that in your area where they like, sell books for a lot cheaper than they do. Thrift Books is online, so you could do that anywhere. I've gotten them, a few of them I've gotten brand new from mostly like Barnes and Nobles and things like that if I buy them brand new. I've bought some for my college, not AMDA, Clark College, which I went to before I went to AMDA. And then some of them I've kind of just gotten random places. Some of them I do not remember where I got them, to be honest, but let's get into it. So the first play on my list I have is Disgraced by Ayat Akhtar. I hope I am saying that correctly. I'm really sorry if I'm not. It is a really good play that kind of, it gets into a lot of really heavy details, so that is one thing to keep in mind. A trigger warning for that. But it's a really, really good play. I'm not gonna go too in depth about it. I don't remember a whole lot about it because I read this like 3 years ago, I think. I got this from my college's bookstore because it's a required like textbook for the drama course that I was taking at the time. Next, I have Anna in the Tropics by Nyla Cruz. I genuinely really love this play. I haven't read it in a long time, probably about the same time. I bought this for the same course, and this is a really good play if you want monologues and you are Latin American. I believe this is specifically about a Cuban family. Yeah, Cuban American family, and they roll cigars. And that seems really boring, but there's like so much more to it, and there's a lot of family dynamics, and it's crazy, and the ending is like it's crazy. Anyway, this is a really good play. I would highly recommend it. Next, I have The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by John P. Donaldson. I read this once probably when I was like 14 or so. I can't actually remember when I read it. I do not even remember where I got this one, to be honest. I believe that I got it from the Friend store in my library. In my local library, basically, there's like just this little like kind of this little tiny section of the library. It's a little tiny room, and basically it's just you can donate books there for free that you don't want anymore, and they sell them for like $1 to like 50 cents to $1. And I think I found it there, but I cannot remember correctly. Next, I have The Diary of Anne Frank. That was dramatized by Frances Goodrich and Albert Hackett. So I have not read the play of this yet, and I don't believe that I've actually finished reading the actual book that it was based off of. However, I did just purchase this. I bought this from Vintage Books. It was only, hold on, this one, it was only $5. And I just wanted to have this as part of my collection because I felt like it was a really good play to have and a good play to read. So I have it. The next play I have is A Raisin and Sun by Lorraine Hansberry. This is a wonderful play for African-American folks like myself. It also has a lot of troubled family dynamics, and it's just very interesting, and it deals a lot with very common Black struggles, and it's just really good. I'm sure a lot of people hate this play because they had to read it for like English class in freshman years and like that. But if you look beyond the annoyingness of having to read it in like freshman year, it's a very good play and it deals with a lot of big topics. I also got this for the drama course that I took at Clark because it was a required one. Next I have This Hefty Boy. That's kind of a better way to look at it. It's plays by Henrik Ibsen. It is a playwright that I learned a lot about in my iconic theater class. It has 4 of his plays. It has A Doll's House, Ghosts, The Wild Duck, and Hedda Gabler. So it has all of those plays basically compiled in here, and it's like super fancy. And I want to say I also got this from Vintage Books, which is such a good find because it's such a pretty book. And like the pages, I love this book so much. Not even because like I haven't read these plays yet. I just love the book because it is so pretty, and I love books that like look like. Next, I have All in the Timing by David Ives, but there are also 14 plays in total by David Ives in here. David Ives is mostly popular for short plays and such. Like All in the Timing is a compilation of 6 short plays, all dealing with a lot of different topics. They're very interesting. I don't want to say camp because they're not camp. They could very easily be made campy, but they're very abstract, I think. But they're really good. I got to perform in this show. I played Mrs. Trotsky in the variations on the death of Mr. Trotsky, and also Jill and English Made Simple. So it's very near and dear to my heart, and I was really happy that I got it. I also got this from Vintage Books. My tab. The next play I have is The Alchemist by Ben Jonson. I have yet to read this. And I actually do not remember where I got this one, to be honest. And actually the part of the last page has been ripped out. You can tell that it's old though because the pages are very yellow. And there's a note in here too. Don't know who left that. I believe that I got this from the Friend store at my local library as well. Next we have Angels in America by Tony Kushner. This is a very hefty play. So it's a very long read, but I would highly recommend it. It's a very good play. It's primarily about the AIDS epidemic in the 90s and how that affected a lot of people's lives. It's very beautiful, but it's very long. So it is definitely a long read, but I think it is absolutely worth it. I don't believe I finished reading this, but I also got this from my college bookstore for the course that I had. The next play I have is called To See the Stars by Cynthia Cotti. I'm trying to like kind of show you because it's white, so it's kind of hard to show it. But so this is a contemporary play. It's much newer, but it's about the shirtwaist girls. Like the shirtwaist industry, which is basically a lot of young girls worked at these factories called shirtwaist factories where they'd make shirtwaists. And they were very mistreated, so it talks a lot about the mistreatment of women in the workplace during this era, and these girls fighting up against that because the men wouldn't do anything because they were so worried about, well, the men are struggling too, but they're like, doesn't mean women don't. But it's a really good play from what I've heard. I bought this from Dramatica Publishing, like their website, because that's like the only place I could find it. But I really want to read this book or to read this play, sorry. Because I just think it's a really good one to read. And I'm very excited to read it. Next we have the iconic Arthur Miller. Our first one is All of My Sons. I believe I got this from, I got this from Powell's. Okay. Yeah, I got this one from Powell's in Portland. And yeah, I actually don't know a whole lot about this play specifically, because I haven't gotten around to reading this. That's part of the reason I bought it. I have not read a lot of the plays that I have here, but that is also the reason that I bought them. And because I'm back home and not in school, I have a lot more time to do all of those things. So I'm very excited to get to these. The next Arthur Miller I have is A View from the Bridge. I also don't know a whole lot about this one. I believe that I got this from the vintage bookstore, but I can't be sure about that, to be honest. I don't really remember where I got this one, to be quite honest. But I have it. And this is the last one I have by Arthur Miller, which is The Crucible. I read this for the first time in my high school's advanced theater class. Because at my high school, in your senior year, you are allowed to take advanced theater as an English credit. And I did that, and we read The Crucible, and I did a scene from it as Abigail. I slayed hard. In fact, one of my audition monologues is Abigail's monologue, so it's fine. We don't need to talk about the mental issues that come with that. This one's fairly new. I got this one from Thrift Books, like it came in like yesterday, I think. But it's Waiting for Lefty, Another Place by Clifford Odets. The other plays it has is Awake and Sing, Till the Day I Die, Paradise Lost, Golden Boy, and Rocket to the Moon. So it just has a compilation of Clifford Odets plays. I don't know a whole lot about his work. I do know from Waiting for Lefty. Waiting for Lefty is a very, very short play. I think it's like 60 minutes at most, to be honest. It's not very long. I believe it is traditionally performed without an intermission because it's that short. And I would assume that his other work is like that, but because I haven't read his other works yet, I can't really attest to that. But I got this one from Thrift Books. It literally sells the Thrift Book sticker on it, so. Next we have our lovely Eugene O'Neill. This is a compilation of some of his plays. It's very old, as you can see by the yellowing of the pages, but I love the smell of old books. But this one has Anna Christie, The Emperor Jones, and The Hairy Ape. I know a little bit about The Hairy Ape, and I believe I've heard a little bit about Anna Christie and The Emperor Jones. I don't remember as much about those ones. I remember The Hairy Ape was about like this guy that was really ugly and this woman fell in love with him or something. Could be wrong. Correct me on that. But it has 3 of his plays, and Eugene O'Neill is a very famous playwright, and I think it's important to have him in my collection, along with Clifford Odets and Arthur Miller, and a lot of the other playwrights I have in here. This next one is one that I just also got yesterday, or just came in yesterday. I got from Thrift Books as well, and I'm very excited to have in my collection because my high school theater teacher got me hooked on this play, but it's Eurydice by Sarah Roll. It says female French. I got it from Thrift Books, and it is marked up a little bit on the inside, but it looks like pencil, so I could erase it if I wanted to. But it's a really good play. Honestly, this has a lot of really good female monologues, and honestly just a lot of good monologues in general. Like, there's a lot of good ones from Orpheus, and one thing too is that it's like the way that the casting is done is it doesn't need to be, there's not as many gender conformities and race conformities as there are in a lot of plays, so like pretty much anyone could probably find a monologue from this play. It's great. I love it. I'm very excited. I'm gonna read it again and try to find a monologue from it. So also, in case you were wondering, yes, it is the same Eurydice like Hadestown. Basically, they're both, this play and Hadestown are both based on the same story. They're told very differently, but both so beautifully, and I love them both very much. So the next play I have, or book, is No Exit, and 3 other plays by Jean-Paul Sartre, I think. And this, I know No Exit is a play about purgatory, and I just really like plays like that. I don't know why they intrigue me so much, but I really enjoy plays that are about things like that. Maybe that's why I like Hadestown and Eurydice so much, because it's kind of about that, sort of. But like, I just know, I really love plays that are about that, and I don't know why, because it's such a weird, like, niche thing, but like, I love it. I got this one from Powell's in my sophomore year of high school. I have not read this yet because I haven't actually read a whole lot in the past few years. But I've been trying to get back into that a lot more because I love reading. But I have ADHD, and it has taken a lot to convince myself to do that. So the next play I have is Barefoot in the Park by Neil Simon. I bought this play specifically because I have a monologue from it. I have one of Corey's monologues. I cannot think of it right now. I'm genuinely, like, I feel so angry at myself because it should be in my brain, but it's not. This play is a fun little play about a newlywed married couple that are very young, and they're in their mid-20s, I think, and it's kind of kooky and crazy, and I don't know, it's fun. Do keep in mind, I'm just warning you, there are some offensive terms in this specific play because it is an older play. I believe they removed those from the movie, but there's certain things that have not aged quite well. Keep in mind, it is from the 60s. I'm correct. I think that's right. Copyright 1964. Yeah, it came out in 1964. So most things that came out like pre-80s, honestly, even like early 2000s, normally have some sort of thing in there that's like, oh. But yeah, just a warning that is in there. Next up, we have Miss Julie by August Strindberg. This is the only Strindberg play that I have, but I do want to collect the rest of them because there's not that many. Fun fact about Strindberg: huge misogynist. Huge misogynist. But then he went a little, I think he had a psychotic break and had to go to a mental institution, and I believe that he was like one of the first people in the States, I think, or something. I don't know. I think they started like the modern therapy. He was like one of the first people to kind of get that kind of treatment, basically, if I remember correctly. But it's about this, like, it's about Julie, and I do know what it's about because I've watched the movie and started reading the play, but it's about Julie. Read it. Done with Homestretch, I have my last author in the regular straight plays collection, and it's Tennessee Williams. The first one I have of Tennessee Williams is A Streetcar Named Desire. I do not know a whole lot about this play. I can't lie to you and say that I do. But I did get it because Tennessee Williams is obviously, he's a classic. A Streetcar Named Desire is very, very famous, and I think it's a good play to have just in my brain and know about and learn about. And Tennessee Williams in general is just a very good playwright. That is definitely someone who you should know about if you're planning on going to the theater industry. And the last play that I have, also Tennessee Williams, is The Glass Menagerie. This one I know a little bit more about because we talked a lot about this one in my Iconics theater class. And I know this has a lot to do with his childhood and his personal life and his family, and his sister. And it's a very interesting play. From what I've heard about it, I'm very excited to read it. I'm excited to read pretty much all of the plays that I have here. But I think that one's gonna be a really good one. I don't know. I'm just really excited to read that one. There's a couple ones that I'm more excited to read about just because I've heard more about them. So that is all of my regular straight plays. I am adding to my collection still. So maybe in like a year or two, I'll do another update when I actually have a sufficient amount to give you an update with. So yeah. Next we have none other than the bard himself, William Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare. I do have quite a bit of Shakespeare. Not as much as some people, but I do have a decent chunk that I am very proud of and very happy about. So, I'm gonna start. The first that I have here is All's Well That Ends Well. I got this one from Powell's. I only know that because it has the sticker on the back. Honestly, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't remember that I got it from there. This is technically from the Folger Library General Reader Shakespeare. However, I do have others that are from the new Folger Library, so they look a lot different than this one does. This one is kind of going to go with a category that look just similar to this. Next, I have A Midsummer Night's Dream. Also don't know a whole lot about this one. I have not read a lot of these, okay? I've had a lot of them for a long time. This one is newer. I want to say I got this one from Powell's, but I cannot remember. No, I got this one from Vintage Books, but I believe it's a Barnes & Noble's Shakespeare collection. However, I got it from Vintage Books for $5. Gotta love Vintage Books. I've been kind of addicted to shopping there recently. It's a little bit of a problem, mostly for my wallet. But I like a lot of versions like this because they're a lot bigger, but they allow for bigger print. Can't really see it, but they also have like basically one of the pages, like this page on the left, is for the meanings and definitions of certain words, and then the page on the right is for just the text. And I think that is very helpful when reading Shakespeare, especially if you are new to Shakespeare. That can help a girl out so much. Next we have Antony and Cleopatra. I assume that this one is about Cleopatra, but I could be wrong. Probably not though. This one this is one of the histories, yeah. But this is from the new revised edition, and I believe that I got this from the front store in my local library. I've had it for several years, so I don't remember where I got it. I have As You Like It, which is currently what I'm an assistant stage manager on the show currently. So this one's a really fun show. I've sort of read all the way through it. I've listened all the way through it because I've, watched read-throughs and stuff like that. It's very fun. It's a comedy, and I love it. I like it a lot. Alright, so this one is also from the Barnes & Noble's collection that was, that A Midsummer Night's Dream was from. However, I did not get this from Barnes & Noble's, but I also do not remember where I got this one. It is Hamlet, if you can't tell. This one is also kind of same format, which I really like. I'm excited to read this one. I do not know much about Hamlet, but I've heard it's pretty good. So this one is also from the Folger Shakespeare Library. However, it's a very different edition, kind of. I have King Lear, which, if I'm correct, is one of the histories, right? I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about this one because I haven't read it yet, and I am still very new to the whole Shakespeare world. So that's why I'm just building my collection so that I can get more used to it. That one I got from Powell's. That was actually my most recent trip to Powell's. After I went to go see Ronald Reagan Murder by Mentors, I went to Powell's with my friend that I went to go see it with, and I got that. Next, a beloved of mine. We have Much Ado About Nothing. Obviously, I love this show. If you want to know more about it, I have like 2 videos on it because I was in this show and I was Hero, and I love this show. It was amazing. So next, how could any Shakespeare collection be complete, although mine's not complete, without R and J, otherwise known as Romeo and Juliet. This is the Dover's Thrift Edition. I've had this one since my freshman year of high school, so I've had it for 4 years. As you can tell, it's seen better days, but it's not in horrible condition. I believe this one I got from Amazon, actually. Actually, the cover is starting to fall off, but it's fine. It's fine. I love me some good Romeo and Juliet. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, is the story really dumb? Absolutely. Do I love it anyway? Also, absolutely. I love Romeo and Juliet in a similar way that I love Twilight, except, I don't know, I just really want to do Romeo and Juliet. I want to play Juliet very bad. She's one of my dream roles. Is that basic? Yes. Do I care? A little. But I still want to do the part either way, so. Yeah, this is from the New Penguin Shakespeare collection, and it's the Comedy of Errors. There is a whole, like, note for someone on the first page. That's so fun. I'm gonna write. I love when I get books and they have little messages in them. I feel like that's such a dumb thing, but that's one of the reasons I love getting, like, old, like, or used books, because first of all, they're cheaper. They're more wallet friendly. But also, I love seeing things like that. It's so fun. I don't know why I enjoy it so much, but it's so interesting for me to see just, like, little snippets of someone else's life. And it's someone that I don't know. And I never will know this person. And it's just crazy to me. But it's really fun. I really love seeing things like that. I think it gives books character. And obviously, because it's old, it has the good book smells. It's the old book smells. And I love old book smell. This is World Classic Shakespeare series, The Merry Wives of Windsor. If you watch the theater tag, you'll know that I almost did a Shakespeare camp, where this was going to be one of the shows that we did at the Shakespeare camp, so I bought it. And I have it now. So, I've had this book since 8th grade. Next, I have a classic. If you know Kiss Me Kate, you know a little bit about this show. We have The Taming of the Shrew. This is the show that they perform in Kiss Me Kate. So I know a little bit about it, and honestly, it is pretty much what the title says. The Taming of the Shrew. Basically, a woman's name. I want to say her name's like, what, Bianca or something like that? Am I dumb? Sorry, I was wrong. Catherine is the name of the old. Kiss Me Kate. I knew that. I knew that it was Catherine. That's why it's called Kiss Me Kate. The oldest daughter, Catherine, she's a shrew, or basically a woman who hates men, and she doesn't want to get married. And she's like old, which is not old at all. It's like old. So like in her 20s, and she's not married. And they're like, oh, crazy. And then she comes around and gets married in the end, I think. Next, this is also a Dover's Thrift Edition. I got this one, I believe, off of Amazon as well. I got this also 5 years ago. I've had this since 8th grade. It's very old. I have The Tempest, which I got also for the same Shakespeare camp that I never ended up going to, which I'm still very sad about to this day. However, I'm very excited to read this one, particularly because there's a character named Ariel in it. And it's a very funky character, and from what I remember, if I remember correctly from hearing about it, it is not a character that really needs to be played by a specific gender, so I can absolutely play that role sometime. It is like my goal to play other characters that have my name, because I think it would be so fun. Like, I absolutely want to do a production of Little Mermaid. Like, thank you, Hal Bailey, for opening up doors for me. Now people will see me. and also see Ariel. Choking on my own spit. Excuse me. It's a little sad that some people wouldn't look at me and see a Little Mermaid, given that's what my name is. So, anyway, next we have He Who Shall Not Be Named, Shakespeare edition. We have Mackers, The Tragedy of Mackers. This one is complete and unabridged. This one has seen better days, as you can see. I believe that I got this one from the Friends store at my local library. Yeah, this book, I don't remember if I did it or if the person who had it before me did, like if it was already like this when I got it, but I think I did. But like, you can't really see it on camera. Here, you can kind of see the gloss. Like, the cover is literally being taped on, because it does not want to stay on. I can't remember how long I've had this one, to be honest. The copyright's from 1968, so it is pretty old, and it is paperback, and it's very small, and it has like water damage, and it's not great, but I love it. It has a lot of good old book smell. However, because it's small, it doesn't have as much, unfortunately, but I love it. I've seen this play twice, and it is the only Shakespeare show I've ever seen live, so it's kind of silly that I've seen it twice. But as I am a basic theater kid, I do not say the name aloud. Next, this is a Signet classic. I got this one from Vintage Books. I have Two Gentlemen of Verona. I'm trying to get this to focus. There we go. A little bit more. But I have this one. I don't know a whole lot about this show. Next, I have my last Dover's Thrift edition, and I believe my newest one. I have The Winter's Tale. I do not know jack shit about this show. However, it was bought for me as a gift. I can't remember who. It was a family. I think it was my sister-in-law bought it for me. And it was very nice because she knows a theater kid, and I don't know. It's nice when people buy things for me that they know I'll like. Or like plays and stuff like that, because they know that's something I like, and that, I don't know, it's just nice. Anyway. Next, this is a part of the Pelican Shakespeare collection. I got this one off of Thrift Books, and I believe it does have a few markups in it. As a little bit of highlighting, I have Twelfth Night. I specifically purchased this one because AMDA is doing this for their spring play, and I was planning on auditioning. Can't do that anymore. However, I was planning on it, so I bought it and read it so that I would know what I was auditioning for. I have read this one. I really like it. I think it's goofy and fun and very queer. Like, not even trying to be, because Shakespeare, but very, very queer. So that is the last actual play of Shakespeare's that I have, that at least individually, but I do have a few other Shakespeare things that I do want to share. Here, I bought these online, and they did cost me quite a pretty penny, but because I am a big fan of Shakespeare, I believe that it will come in handy. So I have The Great Courses. Basically, this is the transcript of the actual like little classes. It's, I have the course online so that I can go on anytime that I want to, and I just always have it there. And I just got these so that I could kind of look back at certain things whenever I felt like it. But I have, this is lectures 1 through 18, and this is lectures 19 through 36. And I'm very excited to start looking at those. The next one I have, this is one of my faves, and it's very sentimental to me. So this is one of my last ones. This is my second to last like Shakespeare thing that I have in my collection. However, I love it very much, and it's very sentimental to me. I have the complete Signet Classic Shakespeare. This one is the one with the by Sylvia Barnett. I think she does like the forward and stuff like that. This was a gift for me, a going away gift. Mostly from my Claudio, however, but also from basically the cast of Much Ado, to send me off to college. And my favorite part about this one, something that has nothing to do with Shakespeare. If you go to the Much Ado About Nothing page, it's a little card, and it's signed by the whole cast. And basically it's just wishing me well wishes, and it's very, very special to me and important to me, and I love it very much. I also appreciate that it's very pretty. So. Next, this is my last Shakespeare thing, but it's very fun and goofy, and I'm happy that I have it. I got this from Powell's, and I do want to get more of the collection. However, I have Brick Shakespeare. This one's the comedy, so it has A Midsummer Night's Dream, The Tempest, Much Ado About Nothing, and The Taming of the Shrew, but it's all Lego. How fun is that? It's just really fun. Like, it's really adorable. It's kind of like a comic, but it's Shakespeare plays and Lego. So if stuff like that interests you, honestly I would go for it. I think it was only like 12-13 bucks at Powell's, if I remember correctly. But they have the tragedies, they have other ones, so I would recommend this, definitely, for sure. Anyway, that was all of my plays. I really hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry that this video is so long. I'm gonna put a lot of resources to find plays and a lot of the places that I find them from down in the description. Vintage Books also is somewhere you can shop online, so that is one thing to consider. Even if you don't have one in your area, you can still shop online for books there. I am very much about making theater more accessible to people who have lower finances, and honestly, like, I haven't had the best finances my whole life, and especially when I pay for things myself, I don't have as much money to be able to buy things like this. And it's just nice to be able to stay on the cheaper side, especially because I don't necessarily believe that quality means that I have to pay more money. Especially when these are all still very good copies of them. They are all, they still are functional. I can still read all of them, and there's nothing wrong with them. And I got most of them for a lot cheaper than I would get at full price. Now, of course, you can get PDFs of a lot of them. PDFs are actually pretty easy to find of a lot of plays if you cannot afford to get a physical copy, or if you are just not a person who can read physical books. I know a lot of people read better on like their screen. Anyways, y'all, that will be all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the or push the notification bells to be notified when I make new videos. I upload every Friday at noon, at least I'm trying to. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. I love you.